Good evening, everyone. There is a ceasefire and there is a fire in the market. Am I right? Market is on the fire. The mood of the market has completely undergone a change, not only in India but globally. And how and we keep talking about how sentiments are fickle. You know, if one has to talk to you last week, people would have given you 10 reasons why one should not buy in the market. And today you talk to the people give you 10 reasons why one should buy in the market. And that's the beauty about the market. If you happen to read some of the commentary and some of the experts globally, everyone was saying that probability of US going into recession was very, very high last week. Okay. And if you look at the number, it has come down, the probability has come down drastically. So, we keep saying nothing happens for months and things can change in no time. And that's a classical example of that. There are a couple of things happen simultaneously, and that's the beauty about the market. When वो बोलता है ना भगवान देता है छप्पर फाड़ के देता है. Something similar happened this time. Of course, I'm going to cover some of those points in my presentation, but who thought that US and China could come on an agreement on the tariff war? We all know that stocks were depleting in many of the retail stores in the US, and those who are from US, maybe they can correct if I'm getting it wrong. China, on the other hand, has a problem because of people were shutting down the factories, so the labor was in an unemployment, and how do we basically meet that? Both had a very compulsive reason to basically come to the, and if you go back, I've been keep saying that this kind of a tariff is unsustainable, not only for the US but also for the China, and that's what it has happened. But that's reason number one. Number two, India and Pakistan. And of course, there's more for the Indian market than the global market. Ceasefire. And more or less that ceasefire has been holding true as we speak. IPL, which got suspended, is going to resume very soon. And market loved it. On Monday, not only the Indian market, but the Pakistan market also moved up. Third thing is, which is not been too much talked about it, but it's happening in the right direction, is that there could also be a ceasefire between the US or Russia and the Ukraine. And that's also playing its part in terms of improving the market sentiment. So before I start my presentation, just a small disclaimer that this webinar is just to enhance your understanding about the equity market. Please consult your financial advisor before buying or selling any stock. Investment in securities market are subject to market risk, and past performance is no indicator of future returns. So let me start with the twist in the tariff war. Both US and China, if one increased the tariff, the China would basically also further increase. And they reach a point where, anything beyond that would have been actually disaster for both the country. But fortunately, some senses prevailed. And that really, help to what we call decrease that anxiety about the growth in the world economy. Because I don't know whether I talk with you people or whether I talk with our PMS customers, the global growth was coming under clear-cut question mark, and there was a more probability that it could further be revised downward for the very simple reason because China and US are both large countries, and if one stop buying from other and other cannot sell the product to other country, it does create a lot of problem for the world economy. And eventually, the US decided to lower the tariff on the Chinese imports from 145% to 30%. China decided to bring it down from 125% to 10%. So, of course, it's not that it is still higher than what used to be. But वो बोलता है ना जब when your problem was bigger, and even if you still get some relief, you still feel better. Even though it was much worse than what it was, am I right? There is a window for 90 days to reach to a deal. But I can tell you with a lot of confidence, even if the China and US is not able to agree within 90 days, this is a new normal. And why I'm so much confident about it? Because when I listen to these people, body language, and when you listen to the kind of word these people are using, it gives a clear-cut message. ये 90 days के लिए नहीं है. It's more or less permanent. So going forward, this is my personal opinion, not MarketsMojo opinion. Going forward, if at all there has to be some kind of a change in the tariff between US and the China, it would be lower, it will not be higher. Because both the countries realize they need each other. Now the question comes, what happens to the China plus one strategy? And India was or is supposed to be the beneficiary of that. That story will continue. It's not that it's not going to, because as I told you, before Trump coming in, and after Trump coming, the tariff is still higher. So the China plus one strategy will keep continuing, because no one wants to have too much risk with this kind of a geopolitical situation. Because क्या होता है, तकलीफ कर देता है आपके business को. So no country has, now the message is loud and clear. Whatever happens to the tariff war, the message is loud and clear. You can't be dependent on one country to source all your products. You need to diversify, de-risk. Like we keep saying about, you can't have one single stock portfolio, am I right? Because you diversify, despite you may be 100% sure that this company is going to make a lot of money for me, you still don't put all eggs in one basket. The same logic, I think world is. So I think, so it's not that if the China and the US have decided to lower their tariff, it's bad for the country like India. Answer is no. People will still explore because they want to de-risk this supply chain. Otherwise, someone can always do arm twisting. Pharma, and I know you people will ask me questions, so I'm preempting that. We all know that the Trump has announced that prescription what we call the drugs, prescription drug should be cut by 30 to 80%. So what happens to the Indian market, Indian pharmaceutical company? Because we are one of the largest suppliers of pharma products and generic products to the US. Some data, top 15 listed company, their revenue from the US comes to about 35%. If you look at the FY 2024, because 2025 data is still not available in the public domain, so we don't know. The total pharma export, total, is 1.9 lakh crore. The US is near about 70,000 crore, which works out to near about 37% or so, which is very similar to the top 15 companies, 35%. So there is a risk. It's not a small percent. 35% is a big number for the. But our sense is that if at all there will be anything, it will be positive, because if the prices has to come down, India is one of the cheapest producers of pharma products in the world. When the price reduction happens, there could be a high volume. Now someone would say, "Boss, medicine थोड़ी आप खा सकते हो ज़्यादा." But sometimes because of you cannot afford, you don't consume medicine, which we have seen, am I right? Many times, and that happens with the poor people, because they can't afford. You can't basically go for the treatment. Once this become affordable, the more people which were not consuming before might consume, and that could help. So we don't see any negative impact because of this to the pharma, and of course, even market reacted did not give a negative thumbs down to this proposal. Now, one smart thing has happened. What the smart thing has happened is that If you look at the custom duty being collected by the US, US, you know, it has gone up substantially in the month of April. The blue line that you see is $16.3 billion. Okay, this one I'm talking about. Look at 8.8, 16.3. If you remember that 2nd April liberation, that's it really kicked in. So this is the kind of jump that has seen. And if you look at compare April to April last year, 7.1 to 16.3. So a lot of it seems right now, of course, it's too early for even Trump to celebrate this victory. But one thing is very sure: Trump has been able to manage to increase the revenue from the custom duty. So it's a hats off to him, because it seems that right now it seems to be playing out very well, because doubling in 1 month, and which has not been the case if you look at, that's why I've looked at last 12 months data just to get you some trend analysis. Otherwise you will say, "Arey, pehle bhi hua hoga." So I think that's a very good data. Now we need to see, wait and watch what happens in the month of May and so forth to get more clarity. Or is it because people started preempting and that's why they imported more than they used to import, and that resulted into a high import duty? We need to. But the fact of the matter is that what US used to collect in 2 months, they've been able to collect in 1 month only. So that's a kind of a spike which has happened in the custom duty collection. And it's all data available in the public domain, so I don't have to. Shifting gears, let's come to the Indian market. A lot of people were concerned about Pahalgam, and then iske baad, what would happen between the India and Pakistan. Look at the data now and look at the graph. Before Pahalgam, we were at 79,400. That's a Sensex value. Today we are at 81,000. We are up by 2.4% in less than 1 month or so, which is a good return. So what I've realized, and the reason I wanted to put this graph is that whenever there is a negative flow, in the negative news in the market, especially because of geopolitical situation, because of war, market has always rewarded those who have used that dip in the market to add more money in the equity. And this graph clearly shows loud and clear. And when you see the spike also, when this situation improves, is quite significant. If you look at this graph, okay, which is on Monday, which we saw that it's very, very quick and sharp actually. So in future, you don't need Sunil Damania to tell you. If there is a geopolitical tension, and we did give an example of Kargil, we also give an example of 2019. Whenever there is a geopolitical, there is a war-like situation, please use that fear to increase equity allocation. And this is another good reminder. See, we all need to learn from history. If you don't learn from history, you will not be able to create wealth from the equity. Forget about equity. If you don't learn from history, you will never be able to create the wealth. As simple as that. And it's all the more in the equity market. So my request to all of you, see, there are certain things, which you don't need any expert to tell you. If you apply your common sense, you look at the historical trend, you should be good enough to make money. Since we are in the result season, I thought let me also touch upon that. Till now, almost 2/3 of the market has declared the numbers. When I say 2/3, in terms of market cap, number doesn't look very exciting. So quarter on quarter is a 10.3%. Normally, March quarter is always better quarter, and hence March normally you should look at it Y on Y. Even June quarter you should always look at it Y on Y. Why? Because the March always is a higher base. So when you look at quarter on quarter, it does gives a little not so very rosy picture. So when I look at Y on Y, even though the sales is up by 6.4%, the profit is up by only 1.7%. Last week it was negative, this week is a little positive. when you're trading at 26, 27 times, I don't think market is happy with 1.7%. I know today the narratives are there are no negative news and so on and so forth. It's fine. But eventually market is a function of what we call the earnings. Am I right? And if the earnings growth are not there, okay, it's going to impact the market somewhere. So one is the earnings growth and second is the liquidity. These are the two engines which is needed the market to move up. If one engine is not firing, eventually the other engine will also stop working. For example, if there are no earnings in the market, eventually the liquidity will die down. Am I right? Why? Because बोलेगा फिर क्यों डालूं पैसा kind of stuff. Now the positive things are also happening. While the earnings are not as great, we look at the inflation number. We were at 6.2. Yesterday the data came, we are at 3.16. Almost dropped by 50%. One good thing I can tell you with a lot of confidence is that the food inflation, and if you go back my webinars few months back also, I've been loud and clear in saying that food inflation will come down. It has come down. That gives a lot of headroom for RBI in the month of June, which is the next month, to do further rate cuts. Because RBI comfort level is 2 to 4% plus or minus. So we are in that comfort zone. Having said that, should we expect more, can we go below 3%? Okay, let me put it this way. Most probably, even if we do, answer is no. If at all, if it happens, it may happen in 1 month. But it's not going to. So I think now going forward, we should not expect too much reduction in the inflation from this level. Okay. So I think we have reached almost at the base level of inflation. Going forward, data may not be as positive as would look going forward. Why? Because I think 3.16 looks to be quite reasonably bottom kind of stuff. Of course, maybe 1 month it can go below 3%, maybe further below this, but it's not going to sustain. Crude oil price 80 in Jan, came down to 77 in Feb, March 72, April 67, and till now month to date for the month of May is 63. But having said that, I have put something in the red font. What is that? As of yesterday, India crude oil basket price was 65.53. So even though the average for the month of May is 63, we are anyway above $2 or so as of yesterday. Again, I say loud and clear, crude oil price has hit the bottom. And this is not the first time I'm making a statement. If you go back, I think 10, 15 days back also, I made a very similar statement. We have hit the bottom. Price will either go up or remain steady. Do not expect crude oil to go below $60 per barrel. If at all it does happen, it's not going to sustain at that level because somewhere economies of scale has to come in. In the US, the shale gas has to become feasible if it goes below that. Am I right? It's a demand-supply situation. Higher the demand, higher the price, more supply will come. If the price is low, definitely it should remain feasible for someone to drill more to get the oil. So inflation, again I repeat for the benefit of those who just joined, don't expect too much decline in the inflation from here on. And number two, do not expect crude oil price to go further below this level. Okay. PMI fortunately has hit 10 months high, 58.2, which came out. So that's a very good thing, which shows the activity in the economy. FPI have started loving India. Okay, in the month of April, positive 4223. Till now, in the month of May, almost 12,000 crore has been pumped in by them. And if you look at the data day-wise in the month of May, except 13th May, that is 2388 crore, they have been positive. And due to that, we have 11,000 crore. So that the numbers month after month are improving. There's a trend also. The Feb is lower than Jan, the March is lower than Feb, the April is better than March, and the May till now is better than April. Should you expect too much inflow also? Again, answer is no. Okay, I'm giving you all the data and what does this look like. Will it be very, very high? Don't expect 75,000 crore kind of a positive inflow in 1 month from FPI. And I'll tell you why in a little bit of time. While the FPI have gone little positive, the inflow to the mutual fund industry has come down. It's a 12-month low. If you remember, when I talked to some people in the industry, I was looking at 26,000 crore. But in fact, it came below the March number also. It's 24,269 crore. So if you look at it, 41,000 crore coming down to 39,000 crore, 39,000 become 29,000 crore, 29,000 crore, 25,000 crore, and 25,000 crore become 24,000. Almost 40% decline since end of 2024. That decline looks quite sharp actually. Of course, the reason has been, while the SIP has been quite robust, I think there is a lump sum which is taking money out. And the reason I'm giving this data, so while the FPIs have become little positive, the mutual fund inflow is coming down little low. So when you combine both this, we need to look at the combined, because that's how the institutional investors would look at it, right? Somewhere, I think still we need to wait and watch, because if you remember, in the month of April, the average cash volume was 1 lakh crore on the NSE. So that's improved after a couple of months of a constant decline. Hopefully, if the sentiment gets improved because of ceasefire, because of tariff war is not there, Ukraine-Russia situation, possibility is very high that those who have been, the mutual funds, those who have been selling, at least they will stop selling. So that pressure will go away. SIP inflow will remain robust. And due to that, we should expect better numbers coming in from the retail investors in May 2025, purely because of the better sentiment improving. But within that FPI inflow, mutual fund, just one, and of course this data, like someone asked me about this, so data is compiled for NSE cash market turnover. If you look at it, 34% of the cash volume in the market is accounted by individuals and 29% by the prop books. So basically, almost 64%. What will come as a surprise to all of you is that DII and FII, both combined, is only 27%. While the individual retail investors like you and me are accounting for 34%. So, who drives the market volume in the market? It's you and me, not the FI or DI. But we always want to understand what FIs are doing, what DIs are doing. They do contribute, but combined is only 27% versus us is 34%, like you and me individual is 34%. And the prop book is 29%. Now, why I've said that FPI will be little cautious, don't expect too much inflow coming in, purely because of market valuations are little rich, 26.05 as we speak today. Earnings growth has been little muted for March 2025. Still, there is a global uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen. Yes, there is a 90 days relief, but will that basically relief result into people spending more capex happens and so on and so forth? Still, we don't know. And our sense is that this 26.05 will keep the upside. At the same time, we don't expect market to crash, but don't expect this, the market to go up substantially of this level or a lot of inflow coming in from the FPI purely because of valuations. I think valuations are one factor which will, and if there are certain things which go against, like crude oil start moving up, that could impact the sentiment, or the inflation number which comes next month start inching upwards, then it can hurt the sentiment. So right now, our sense is that don't expect too much upside from the market in the near future. Small and mid cap did extremely well in last 5 trading days. Why am I saying so? Because small cap on an average moved up by 1% daily, 5.49. Mid cap is up by 3.16 versus the large cap almost at the same level in last 5 trading days. And if you look at sectors that basically PSU Bank 5.7, Nifty IT 5.38, Nifty Metal 5.16. Reason is very simple. The PSU Bank did well because of some banks gave a positive, this one, what we call commentary. IT did well purely because people believe that if the US and China have reached the deal, possibility of recession in the US goes down. If that goes down, the budget for the IT software can go up. That's the reason. Nifty Metal is up purely because people believe that if the China is going to start exporting again back to US, the revival in the economy, Chinese economy, if that happens, the Nifty Metal should do well. So these are the reason. And who did not perform well last 1 week? See, look at the sector rotation there. Bank Nifty, which has been the best performing sector for 2025, but it's underperformed. Nifty Pharma, purely because of some concerns there, 0.08, but still in positive. Nifty Finance, again one of the best performing 2025, but did not do well. And FMCG down by 0.42. YTD, almost, market is in green. Like both, we have recovered whatever we lost. Nifty is up by 4%, Sensex is up by 4.0. Of course, there is a pain in mid and small cap. But if you look at the IT, which is the best performing sector in last week, but it's still down by 13%. Nifty Finance, Nifty Bank are one of the best performing sector. Nifty Infra is one of the best. And somewhere you see the consumption or the FMCG, they're still in the negative or marginally positive. I again repeat, I strongly believe the FMCG should make a comeback and it would be one of the best performing sector for 2025. I know you people will ask me, so I thought let me clarify this. With this, I'm happy to take any questions that you may have. Udayanak sir, wherever a company gets in new orders or assets expansion happens, or raw material price decreases or debt reduction happens, in all these cases our growth triggers requesting MarketsMojo team to capture them in any section and give them some weightage in the IP. Thanks. So, I don't know, sir, whether that's a positive or that's a negative. I'll give you a classical example of that. When a company gets a new order, how certain that you are that it will be EPS accretive? In fact, we have seen many cases, especially in infra, it has become winner's curse. Who order, in fact, had they not won the order, it would have been blessing in disguise. Because when you win an order, maybe you got a little competitive in terms of getting that order. And because you win competitive, it's not margin accretive. So it may help you to increase your top line. In the bottom, it doesn't add. And you look at 5 years back, the infra companies which are saying, मुझे ये order मिला, मुझे वो order मिला, हुआ क्या लेकिन उस order का? Did they add value to the? How do we put that in our IP? I don't know. And many times even management looks little optimistic, but ये order मिला हमका होगा, पर होता है क्या real life में? I'll give you a classical example. Vodafone and Idea got merged. And you go back that history, 6-7 साल पहले हुआ था. Look at the detailed presentation, say how value accretive this is, how it will expand the EPS. हुआ क्या? Today morning I was discussing one company. This management acquired one company saying that this is the growth potential, this and that. In the March 2025 con call result, when analysts asked that company, please tell us what is the turnover and the net profit of that company which you acquired, management say we don't want to disclose that. How do you know then that this order or assets expansion is positive or negative? Now you talk about the raw material prices. I will give a classical example. There is one company which we bought recently in our PMS. This company Q2 numbers came down drastically. Reason, the raw material price went down. तो आप बोलो वो तो अच्छा है उसके लिए, but the company was carrying that raw material in the books, inventory loss, mark to market. So sometimes you need to also understand वो raw material price decrease तो हुआ, but company का कितना पड़ा हुआ है पहले से ही माल उसका, because they will need to consume that, and by the time they consume, and if you start buying new, if the price goes up, what happens? Do we have that mechanism in our place? I agree with you, debt reduction, but is there in the price? So in our IP, we do look at the debt reduction. I must tell you that. So as and when there is a this one, our IP do take. So it helps to improve the quality. It helps to improve the CFT. I must tell you that happens. But it's not so a simple equation के 1 + 1 = 2. तो ये हुआ तो अच्छा ही होने वाला है. Never be under impression. I don't normally name the company, but I must tell you some of the project which L&T won in metro, वो गले में आ गया उनके. They want to get out of that. It was not value additive. One of the metro which has been won by Anil Ambani group, they want to get out, is not making. So sometimes, तभी तो market चल गया उस order मिलने के ऊपर. But उसके बाद क्या? So how do we put that thing? Because even if the management doesn't know, we don't know whether it's going to be value equity or not, and for which period it will be. How can we put that into IP? Our IP is a purely function of real data, no assumption. Because when you make assumption, that assumption may be overshoot or undershoot, and it brings volatility in our IP. So there is a reason why we don't put it. It's a good suggestion from your side. It's not that the first time it has come. In last many years, we have been doing webinars. This suggestion has come quite often, time and again. Despite we are not taking to this, what we call things which so-called, still we have been able to do better. Why? Purely because we maintain that consistency of our job in our IP is to cut the noise and focus on the signal. And that's exactly what our IP is doing. The moment we try to bring in noise in that, it's going to underperform very significantly. It's going to not live up to that standard we have set for ourselves. So I don't think we will do that, sir. And I hope I'm able to reply your. If you're still not convinced, please put it. I'll make one more attempt. तुम यार इतना छोटे फोन से मुझे पढ़ाने को बोलेगा आमिर, तो प्रॉब्लम है ना. ओके. Anil sir, the defense sector stocks are on fire. I have been attending our webinars, and takeaway from you is that valuations are, in view of the geopolitical tension fled recently, would the government of India think of ramping up spending in military modernization as well as the lack of look at defense exports going forward? Would that make sense? Start accumulating defense stocks even if they are at rich valuation compared to industry P dependence on singles client, for example, order books. Why doesn't any of the product service markets which identify the opportunity in defense stocks or flat and save and accept one stock which was a part of the latest power series top by recommendation, which I admit that I have bought the said stocks and also sold well. Exit was equal to decent profit. Can you kindly share the insight on the defense sector opportunity stock valuation, whether one can start accumulating them at the current levels even though they have run up quite a bit in the last month or so? Your guidance, and thank you. Regards. अनिल सर, बहुत ही लंबा सवाल आपने पूछा है. जो आप मुझे पूछना चाहते हैं थोड़े समराइज भी कर सकते हैं, पर एनीवे यू आर राइट. वन ऑफ द डिफेंस कंपनी दैट वी हैड रिकमेंडेड, where Mohit and I came and disclosed the 10 stocks, and we asked you to lock in profit. The same stock was also there in our stock of the week also, and we also closed that call because the targets got achieved in the stock of the week. Now your question is that, in fact, one more stock of the week which was recommended last Monday by Jason was also as a defense theme. Am I right? So there are certain pockets which are looking good within the defense spec. Again, I repeat, it's a flavor because Pahalgam happened, incident happened, India gave a good response to the Pakistan misadventure, and that's why the defense stocks came in limelight. Of course, India has an ambitious target for exports. From this level, Anil sir, Should you buy? Will I buy in my personal portfolio? The answer is no. I would rather lock in profits in some of the stocks. Okay, so that's the reason. To your question, should we buy at this point of time? I would rather wait for some more time. There could be a price correction, there could be a time correction because they've run up too quick and too sharp. And whenever that happens, normally we have seen some profit booking happening at the higher level, which can bring down the prices. So don't be in a rush. That's what my advice would be. And remember, this is my personal opinion, not MarketsMojo opinion. Rao, good evening, Sunilji. Has the time come for investor to mid and small cap companies? No, sir. I know because I did make that in last 1 week. The small cap did better than the mid cap, and mid cap did better than the large cap. Should we expect mid and small cap to do well from this level? Answer is clearly no. I think there are still pain purely because of the result season has not been so great. And I do believe that some of the mid and small cap companies are commanding at a very rich valuation, doesn't leave much of a scope for a capital appreciation. So answer is clearly no. Maybe in the second half we can revisit, but right now it doesn't look like that we should expect too much such a great rally in a mid and small cap. Namdhari sir, what is your take on March 25 results, excluding outliers? Okay. What is the median of top and bottom line growth? What is the percentage of companies that reported flat or degrowth? It will be great if complete insights can be shared and published on your site. My understanding your CFT score does not truly represent quarterly performance as it includes multiple things and multiple quarterly results. So Namdhari sir, let me answer the last part of your question first. Our CFT includes, so it doesn't take a very narrow view, let's look a little broader view because we also want stability in the CFT score. So it takes multiple factors and hence while there are other factors also which are 6 months and 9 months and yearly, but when you look at the total weightage to calculate the CFT score, it is the highest weightage in the quarterly numbers. So it does represent what has happened, but of course, the idea is to look at more holistic weather. Now, I don't know whether you heard my conversation with my team, but tomorrow with our PMS customer, I'm exactly representing this. So if you are a PMS customer, so please come tomorrow. I'm going to present what has been the growth, which company, what has been degrowth, how many company reported quarter-on-quarter growth, how many company reported Y-on-Y growth, so and so forth. The more detailed analysis will be available to our PMS customer tomorrow. So Namdari sir, I don't know whether you are a part of a PMS family member or not, but this data would be available to them tomorrow. So my request, please come in case if you are a PMS customer. If not, maybe you can request any of your friend who is a PMS customer to share that PPT which I'm going to share tomorrow to them. They maybe forward you that. So all our PMS customer, we share them the link of our webinar and also the PPT that we have made so that they can watch it again and again. For sometimes they are not able to attend the webinar. They can still watch that webinar leisurely. And suppose if you want to go back what I've said 3 months back, 4 months back, you can go through that because we also shared the webinar link along with the PPT to them. So if for some reason, if you are not there, Namdari sir, don't hesitate. Please reach out to any of your friend who is our PMS family member and they should be able to help you. Dalal sir, can you give PMS Mojo Power Mojo returns for last 1 year? Thanks. We will definitely share the details to you, sir. मुझे forward कर देना. My team will share the details to you, sir. Vinit, FI flow is majorly in finance service sector. Does that mean that this sector will outperform? Okay. Also, could you please share your view on FI sector as I am holding one of the biggest FI player in my personal portfolio that was not performed in the last 4-5 years. FD would have given better return than the stock. So there are 3 questions in your. It's not 1 question, 3 questions. Will financials will do well? Answer is no. Yes. I've said in my beginning of 2025, the bank nifty and finance should do well. It is going to do well, no doubt about it. So please continue to hold in case if you are. My view on FMCG is very, very positive. All negatives are in the price. Yesterday, Britannia made very similar statement. Hindustan Unilever made a statement that the first half of FY 2026 will be better than the second half of FY 2025 and so on and so forth. So there is some kind of a positive things are happening which should reflect in the, it's not done well. If you have to listen to my presentation, FMCG has not done well YTD, but I'm very confident that they will do well. So please, please, please. And coming back to the biggest FMCG player, if you not named the company, but I know it's easy for anyone to guess. I can tell you, in next 4 to 5 years, it will give you much higher return than the FD we have given you. So when you look at the block of 8 to 10 years, this company would have, including the last 4 or 5 years, okay, it would have significantly outperformed your FD returns. So see, unfortunately, we don't have patience in our life. I think the whole world has become, instant gratification. The script I bought today should start doing well tomorrow. ऐसा नहीं होता है. ऐसा होता है, ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं सभी कंपनी में. But I think somewhere the patience is more important than anything else. Something, see, as long as that your reason to invest in that company remains strong, you should not worry too much. In my personal portfolio, I've seen company not moving for 3-4 years in a row. I did not get panic. I did not get out of that company. And the same company gave me so much bountiful returns, even after adjusting for the 3 to 4 years of no negative returns to me. One chemical company, I've said many times in our webinar also, it proved a multi-bagger for me. But first 3-4 years basically frustration दे दिया था वो. कंपनी चल ही नहीं रहा था. इनफैक्ट चल नहीं क्या तो 50% डाउन हो गया था वो कंपनी. But from my original price has become a multiplier, not from the lowest price. So this FMCG company will give you bountiful returns, sir. I can tell you with a lot of confidence. So don't get disheartened. So just to summarize, will finance do well? Answer is yes. Will it outperform FY 2025? Answer is yes. Will it make money from here on? Answer is yes. Will FMCG outperform from here on? Answer is yes. And will that one of the largest FMCG company players will make money for you in next 4 to 5 years? The answer is yes. Shyam Singh, Namaskar sir. From bottom of my heart, I want to express my deepest gratitude to you. Your wisdom, clarity and guidance have made me a lasting impact on me, not just in the world of markets, but in shaping the way I think, act and stay calm through every rise and fall. Your webinars have been nothing short of enlightening. Thanks a lot, Shyam Singh sir. I'm humbly touched. This is really nice to hear this. Now, the second part of your question, even since I started following your guidance, I have not only begun making money with more confidence, but also develop a mindset that does not waver with the market volatility. That's a very good thing, sir. That in itself is a huge win. You have helped me walk a path with far more awareness and direction than before, and that has put me ahead of in ways I never imagined. For all this, we owe a sincere thank you. I wish you nothing but the best of health, happiness, and God's choicest blessings with heartfelt gratitude and lots of respect. Thanks a lot, sir. You made my day. Thanks a lot for such a nice word. Such webinars सब लोग attend करते हैं. Some act on that webinar, and the way you have expressed, you got benefit of that. Some take it a little lightly. They don't make money. Like someone said a very nice thing. समंदर वही है. कोई उसमें से मोती छीन ले लेता है, कोई मछली ले लेता है, कोई खारा पानी लेके खुश हो जाता है. I think our sincere, both the complete Mojo team, MarketsMojo, where that includes Mohit, Joyson, Jason, everyone who comes in front of you, our job is to give you the right information so that it helps you to create wealth. And when we do our PMS webinar, we also know all our PMS customers, also the personal portfolio, we guide them. Even though we don't get any money on that. Our job is to tell you what we believe is right. Sometimes we can go wrong also. We are not God. But our job is to give you right information, right mindset, so that you create wealth for yourself and you improve the standard of living of yourself, not only for you, but your near and dear one. Thanks a lot, sir. Please spread a good word about Markets Mojo to your friends and relatives also. Please also, they also enjoy the benefit of our webinars. Sonia, good evening. Sunil, just wanted to inform you the data of certain stocks of defense have not been updated, like showing strong buy on one side and the same time showing buy status since Feb 25. Sonia ji, if you can help me with which company you are referring, of course I will ask my product team to look into this. But thanks for pointing this out. Has she mentioned the name of the company, Sonia ji? Sonia ji, why don't you mention the name of the company? We will not put it on this one, but I will get it and I will see that we get it corrected immediately. So thanks for bringing it to our notice. गोपाल कृष्ण, टू पिक क्वेश्चन लंबा होना जरूरी है क्या? नहीं सर, लंबा हो या छोटा हो, सवाल वैलिड होना चाहिए एंड विल बी मोर देन हैप्पी टू सर आंसर एनी ऑफ योर क्वेश्चन. तो वो ज़रूरी नहीं है कि वो लंबा है या छोटा है. प्लीज़ गो अहेड एंड सर आस्क क्वेश्चन. वो क्या फ़ोन बहुत छोटे हो जाते हैं और देन इट बिकम लिटिल डिफिकल्ट फॉर टू read also. So, and I'm also not growing young, so you need to understand that. Badri Nayan sir, better than world-class accuracy displayed by Akash Steel, BrahMos, Nagastra in shooting down missiles and perfect attack undetected, give chance to the world armor. Full chance of re-rating of producer companies BL, BDL, Solar, your view. I agree with you, sir. The way our defense companies have come out with the product, which has been extremely good. They have been able to do a job that they are supposed to do. So, never get confused with the product and the valuations. These are two different animals. Okay? And then sometimes, we do get confused with that actually. I don't want to go into the company specific. One company that you mentioned is also our stock of the week. Okay. So I don't want to go into that direction. You need to look at what is priced in that. It is priced in or not priced in. And that's where you need to look at it. If you remember, maybe last week or one before last, I said, gold यहाँ से ऊपर नहीं जाने वाला है. And the risk reward is not very favorable. And hence one should. तभी मुझे ये नहीं पता था कि ये चाइना यूएस का सीज फायर हो जाएगा और एक कैरी फोर में कुछ एमिकेबल हो जाएगा या देयर विल बी सीज फायर. सो यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज देयर इन द प्राइस एंड व्हाट इज नॉट देयर इन द प्राइस. The very fact that this company's price moved up significantly purely based on the reason that you mentioned it. So it's there in the price or not. And that's where your risk reward gets defined. मुझे लग रहा है यहाँ पे in many of the companies, again I'm not giving a stock specific, please don't, I'm not referring to the company that you mentioned also. I'm saying defense as a sector. That a lot of good things are there in the price. From that level, can they further give you capital appreciation, that we need to check. थोड़ा डाउटफुल लगता है एंड दैट्स वेयर माई स्केप्टिज्म कम्स इन. सो द मार्केट ऑलवेज टीचेस वन थिंग. When there are too many positive things happening about that company or the sector, you need to revisit your hypothesis of investing in that company. Is it good time to buy or is it good time to exit from that? Like when I said gold, at that point of gold was the only story happening in the market 15 days back or something. I don't know when I said that. I'll ask Ami to find it out that. And I still believe from here risk reward in gold is not so great. If you remember, I did mention, I came in front of and I said on Akshay Tritiya, I did buy gold, very small quantity, but I bought more of a silver. I bought silver in kgs because I believe the silver should do better than the gold. And that point of time, the gold was the story, not the silver. So normally that's way you should look at it. I hope I'm able to convey the message to you, sir. Anjali ji, can you please tell us what is the average return of all stock of the recombinant for YTD and has the generated alpha or beta for the subscriber? Please answer. Anjali, ma'am, your question is very right. Unfortunately, I am not the right person. If you want, I can compile that information and present tomorrow. I don't have the ready-made answer to that. But the best person to ask this question is Jason, my colleague. Why don't you do one thing, Amir? Just remind me this question. I'll present tomorrow, next time. When I come in front of you, I'll present the data. So what I'll do for all of you, I'll tell you how many. So I don't take care of stock of the week, but since you've asked me, how many stock of the week we recommended till now? How many stock of the week which is closed, which has been we have closed the call with profit or without profit? How many stocks are in profit and how many stocks are outperformed the benchmark since inception, not only YTD, since inception. So Anjali ji, I'll give you that data. Let me come next week in front of you. मेरा next week कभी है? Wednesday को है webinar. Mostly I'll be there in Wednesday. I'll present the data, ma'am. Anjali ma'am. मुझे forward कर देना please and send it to Vigil also please. Wow, again big. Just on lighter note, when you are doing webinar on Tuesday, market was doing good and it was all managed Mangalmay. And when you shifted the webinar on Wednesday, the market started to become choppy. Maybe again back to Tuesday, all things start to move on place in just on lighter note. Question: do you still believe that large cap is better placed than power series and power series which you had done? Some company has given results. Any changes need to be do or maintain same? Also, do you think defense sector is now candidate for re-rating and can you buy this level? So Sagar sir, I have no problem coming on Tuesday. What has happened, sir? On Monday, we release stock of the week early in the morning. Now, we have a choice that Monday normally was reserved for the Mojo 1 edition. Now, when we do both the webinars, morning and the evening, a lot of customers complain that it's become difficult for us to do morning and evening webinar. Second thing, we have only one person to manage the webinar, that is Amir, okay? And he comes from very far from here. Virar, am I right? Yes. So he stays, कितना 60-70 kilometers away from here? Yes. तो उसको 2 घंटा लगता है जाने को 2 घंटा. तो सुबह आता है जल्दी and then becomes little, so it becomes difficult. So what we have done, morning we do stock of the week on Monday, Tuesday we do latest stocks edition. And since someone is doing a webinar, which is Jason, I have no other choice but to come on Wednesday in front of you. So that is the reason. But I don't know whether your observation is right or not, but that's the reason. वो मंगलमय मंगलवार को होता है या बुधवार को होना चाहिए वो देखेंगे. I think we'll do the study. It's a good, I think we'll ask my colleague to basically find out how the market behaves on Tuesday and how market behaves on Wednesday. Maybe that can give you good insights about when you should buy and when you should sell your company which you're holding in the portfolio. Now that's on the lighter note, but another. Do you still believe large cap is better place? Answer is yes. We still believe that large caps one should remain more focused on the large cap as compared to mid and small cap. Just to give a perspective, in our PMS also, we are mostly in large cap. When I say mostly, more than 90% large cap. Power series, if you remember when Mohit and I came in front of you, we did mention, and one of the call from the defense company, we closed the also. As and when we believe that you should get out of that company, maybe because of positive or negative, we will tell you that. We will send you the email to those people who attended that power series. So we did with that one defense company, we'll do that. And I did reply on the defense sector, so I don't want to repeat right now. Swaminathan said crude prices come down and level is $65. Petrol, diesel prices which were raised before when crude was high is not being regulated. In this scenario, who shall be the beneficiary of all refining companies, all marketing companies? The government of India. If you remember, sir, the government of India increased the excise on petrol and diesel by 2 rupees per litre. And they also know that when the global economy slow down, there could be an impact on the revenue. How do you compensate for that? And if you need to give more fillip to the economy by spending more, you don't want to disturb your fiscal deficit. So then you need to have a robust collection in terms of your revenue. So I think the government of India is basically getting more benefit at this point of time by having this. I believe that who knows, government of India might further increase excise on petrol and diesel, further to enhance the revenue from this. You and me don't pay the price higher. Why? Because it has to be they're taking away from the refinery and this one. And most of the players who are refining are also marketing companies. So that's where you can't differentiate too much between refining and the marketing companies. But right now, government of India is making good money, and rightly so also. What is wrong with that? Because if you have to really give support, where will the government of India will get the most probably government might miss the revenue on the direct tax this year. Ajit Sarja, my opportunity to use search like Sam Singh told, I might have attended 3,000. We were waiting to PMS to fly to. Sure, sir. We'll definitely fly, and I'll also fly and come and meet you in Sarja, sir. Don't worry. Can you send model portfolio updates on WhatsApp? Muthu Subramaniam. I don't know, sir, whether it's a technologically possible, not possible, but it's a good suggestion. Why don't you send it to Jason? I'll ask Jason to respond to that. Logically, it should be possible. What we are saying is logically possible. I don't know why our team is not doing if it is possible. But anyway, I don't know the technological challenge there. But I'll definitely ask my team to just भेज देना मुझे भेज देना उसको भेज दे हाँ RB, in your opinion, where does the India stand in terms of its geopolitical standing, and what effect will this episode have on the Indian economy in general and the equity markets in particular? Are you referring to the Pakistan India war-like situation? If that's the, I think it's clearly shows a lot of maturity on the part of India. We have clearly demonstrated that we can at will go inside Pakistan and can do precision or damage to them. So it does increase the India's image. So, when you look at India's image and Pakistan image, there is no comparison, everyone knows Pakistan, their credentials, they will need to go with the begging ball to IMF. They have been put in a grey list, for helping terrorists and so on and so forth. Everyone know where Osama bin Laden was get killed, in which part of the world. So, when people talk about India and Pakistan, I think it's no comparison at all. What are we comparing? Between cheese and chalk. And with this episode, I think India's reputation has gone further up. Because the kind of maturity, the kind of precision that we have, this one. So I think India has demonstrated well, and I think it's a lot of credit goes to our army, our Jawans who have basically done a brilliant job, and also our politicians. In fact, this is the first time I remember in the recent past that every political party spoke in unison. There was no divergence there actually. So that also gives a lot of credibility to the world also, because sometimes one opposition party talks something and that becomes a headline in the global market. So that's also a lot of maturity shown this time by the whole political parties. So we should be grateful to them also. In equity market, the equity market is a function of two things, sir. Try to understand, RB sir. Equity market is a function of two. It's a slave to two things: earnings and liquidity. ये जो होता रहता है ना, war, geopolitical situation, people don't talk about it after some time. It get lost somewhere in the system. But what matters in the past, what is mattering now, and what will matter even 10 years down the line is the earnings and the liquidity. तो वो दो चीज पे focus करो. ये तो equity market is a function of that. You will not ask me any question 3 months down the line. जैसे मैंने टैरिफ के ऊपर बोला था, अभी तो कोई टैरिफ का सवाल भी नहीं पूछता आजकल मुझे. मैं ही बेवकूफ़ है जो अपना प्रेजेंटेशन डाल देता हूँ. बट नन ऑफ यू पीपल आस्किंग इट. कोई टैरिफ का सवाल था क्या? आई कैन रिकलेक्ट ऑल्सो टुडे. बट जनवरी फरवरी में आप लोग के पास वही सवाल था. So that's what happens. So no one will talk about geopolitical. So I think market has its own way of looking at the things. So it doesn't matter in the medium to long run. Short term, it does can impact geopolitics, it can impact the market, and otherwise it's not. In fact, I did present the graph में दिखाया ना, पहलगाम अटैक हुआ उसके बाद क्या हुआ? We are up by 2.5% or so. So that's the thing. सवाल नहीं है या टाइम नहीं है? टाइम. 2-3 सवाल तो ले ले. मैं इन लोग के पास एक ही बार आता हूँ हफ्ते में अभी तो. 3 questions, please. Mohan Kumaran sir, everyone is talking about defense stocks. Should we get out of them? In some stocks, yes, you can move out of that. So we just to disclaimer, our highest holding in PMS is one of the defense company. Highest holding. That company also did very well today. Are we locking in profits? The answer is no. But in general, yes, maybe you should explore profit booking. Rajendra, how do you know Tuesday is good and Wednesday is not? Educated in science era. Sir, I don't know, sir. In fact, someone made a comment and I said, I don't know whether that analysis is right or not. On the contrary, I said, Rajendra sir, that I will do the study and I'll come back to you whether that's actually true. And if that is true, maybe use that as a trend for you, helping you to when to buy and when to sell. That's what I said. I never said that this is good or bad. I don't know. I don't have the data. Just listen to my comments very carefully, because this video would be available with YouTube, and please then listen to me very carefully. I never said this is true. On the contrary, I said I need to find it out, and if that is so, please use this information to improve your returns in the equity market. If there is a trend, do that. Sudhakar sir, for the last 7 years, I am one of your subscribers and also PMS members. I love your data-driven, totally transparent products like bordered portfolio, SOTM, etc. Based on requirements, I made good profits with great confidence even in volatile markets. Thanks a lot, Sudhakar sir. I am very happy, sir. I am very glad that you made money. In fact, I have come across many investors, either through webinars, through my personal interaction with them. They went and they confessed to me that before MarketsMojo, they did not make money from the equity market. Post MarketsMojo, they made a lot of money. तो बोलते हैं ना BC before crash and after crash, वैसा हिसाब है यहाँ पे. Before MarketsMojo, no money from the equity market. After MarketsMojo, many investors made a lot of money, and I'm very thankful, sir, that you have admitted in this open forum. So nice of you. Thanks a lot, sir. And I wish a very prosperous journey going forward also. Last question, if you don't mind, Amir. Bharat sir is saying, I'm a petroleum dealer. All refining, all marketing companies are same. Yes, that's what I also said. There are some companies which are only like only refinery, like Chennai Petroleum, for example, which is a part of IOC. But there are very few companies, like Mangalore is also one of them actually. But while BPCL, HPCL, IOC, they are, or Reliance, for example, they are marketed also, and they are the refiner also. So with this, I know I'm in a little hurry, and rightly so, because he has to go really far. Thanks a lot, everyone, taking time out and attending this webinar. Again, in front of you next Wednesday for our PMS customer tomorrow at 7 p.m. Please do join me. More detailed analysis on India Inc. numbers. As usual, I think Friday we have a very special launch from Mohit. Please register for that, and we will really love attending that webinar too. Good night. Take care.